Hi, sorry for the delay. Technical difficulties. Of course, the one day where you're late, it decides to install an update, which is great, which is great. Yesterday I was 20 minutes early, no update. Day before I was maybe half an hour early, no update. Today I was like literally 2 seconds before, and it decides to install an update. So that was fantastic. Uriah is saying hi, how you doing? Fish says it's fish month. That's interesting. So is today like the first? Is today the first day of fish month? So does that mean fish month goes from 18th September to 18th October? That is interesting. Elias says, hi bro, how are you? I'm good, thank you. Not too bad. It's almost the weekend, so can't complain. How about you? Charlotte says, hi. Let me start the timer. We're about 4 minutes in. That's close enough. Fish says, hat of the stream indeed. How you doing, Dawood? Hope you are good. Let's go Barcelona. I'll admit I'm a bit... I'm viewing this as a neutral, which is a relief after after the high blood pressure day that was yesterday. Fish's Valentine is Podolski. Does Podolski know that? I'm not sure. And you're in September, so you're pretty far away from Valentine's Day. Was Podolski your Valentine for this year, or is he your Valentine for next year? Kieran says, game's gone with Newcastle. Gordon in striker. Almost scored there, to be fair. I don't know about the headband though. That's a new one. Eddie Howe, we have Nick. Yeah, you do have Nick. Is Voltamade not playing? What's going on? Let's have a quick look. Kieran is correct. So they've got Gordon up front, which is just nonsense. Voltamade on the bench. Hopefully he comes on later. How you doing, Mason, Jason, Aviation? These Geordies are mental. mental in a good way most of the time, but I hope you're doing good. Ilias is Newcastle starting strong. Yeah, we were collectively hating on Gordon, and he almost scored. How you doing, Zame? Zame says, greetings. St. James's Park has the second best atmosphere in England for sure. Yeah, it does have a really good atmosphere. I've never been, but I've heard it's very... Ooh! They almost scored there. Harvey Barnes almost scored. That was close. How you doing, Pixel? Pixel calls me a expletive at the very end. That was not a typo. That was. I think it means who are you rooting for? I think. Me, I'm neutral today. Neutral. I don't really mind, which makes a nice change. Dawood's rooting for Barcelona. Kieran's rooting for Newcastle. Me, I'm in the middle, which makes a nice change. How about you? Mason Jason says Podolski. It's Fish's favorite. Yeah, he's on the bench. Voltamade. Hopefully he comes on. Did you see the video of the assistant and he threw a bottle and spat at the fans? I've not seen the video. I been a bit back and forth today, but I heard about the spitting incident. Is that what started off the whole altercation with Simeone losing his mind and all that. Like I saw something. There was a fan that was laughing at him. And then it kind of kicked off. But yeah, but it sounds like you know about the situation. So whose fault is it? Is it the Liverpool's fans' fault, or is it Simeone's fault? It sounds like it might be the assistant's fault, because it sounds like the assistant started it. They say Nick has a cramp, that's why he didn't start. I see. Good enough for the bench. Mason Jason Aviation says first, you mean? Possibly. To be fair, I've never been to St James's Park. I've been to Anfield a couple of times. Been to Wembley, but I've heard St James's Park's got a very good atmosphere. That was it. You wanted me to put Salah and Torreira on the on the Galatasaray cover. As promised, I will do that. I've not created the thumbnails for next week yet, but I'll put those on for you. Ikram says Endo, Haman or Alonso. Easy, Alonso. Zaim says Mason definitely second, but they do kind of cheat with their away stands up in the stratosphere. I've heard it's a very big stadium, St James's Park, like from a capacity perspective. So that certainly does help. Take a drink. Galatasaray have scored. This is the hydration plan we were talking about yesterday, because I end up going for like 3 hours without drinking anything. But we might need to tweak it just to be goals in this game. Otherwise, I'm going to need the loo every 2 seconds. I think goals in the game that we're watching. That's probably good compromise. Mason Jason Aviation said defo first, but yeah, the away end is hard to hear. Fish loves Podolski so much he gives him 4 love hearts. Anthony's been to St James's Park. He says the atmosphere is not better than Anfield. Would you say it's good though? Like, I've heard it's good because it's a big stadium. Mason Jason Aviation says Nick needed to use the bathroom. That's why he didn't start. Well, he must have eaten something pretty substantial yesterday if it's keeping him out of the team. But I'd like to think he comes on in the second half. Fingers crossed. We don't know what was said by the fans, but it sounded like they called him the Argentinian Amber. Wow, it's a sign of the times that is a insult now. Just 6 months ago, that would have been a compliment if you think about it. But that's the Man United effect. It's now classed as an insult. But he can't speak or understand English, especially Scouse. But Simeone walked out of the presser. Yeah, the whole thing is a bit. The whole thing is a bit messy, to be honest. But equally, if this guy is spitting on people, I think he's probably taking that a bit too far. That's the thing with Simeone. He's always involved in some sort of altercation. You pick the bad games, it may be 0-0. It will definitely be 0-0, which means no drink for me. That can be my punishment for picking the bad games. I'm not allowed to drink anymore. Players just stopped. Take a drink, sporting player got a yellow card. Are we taking drinks for cards now? Are we disappearing every 2 seconds to the bathroom? But speaking of, yesterday you were saying order a cup off of Temu. I ordered something off AliExpress. It's not like a fancy cup, but it'll do. So hopefully, when that turns up anytime in the next 3 years, I should no longer be dehydrated. Not sure what Amarim will do now that his backup job was taken. Yeah, by is this the Benfica job by Jose Mourinho? I did see that. Back at Benfica after 25 years. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Amarim. I don't know what Amarim would do. Like from his perspective, he's probably still gonna just try and hold on as long as he can, and then get fired, and then get a £12 million payoff. Ooh, Newcastle through. Newcastle have been playing quite well for the first 14, 15 minutes. Yeah, he'll probably hold on to his contract as long as he can, wait to get fired, get the payoff, and then probably take a break. That's the thing with these kind of failed Man United managers. Time is a healer to a certain degree. So I think even if nobody wants him immediately, after like 3 to 6 months, I think he'll get job offers. So I think he should be okay. I mean, if Leverkusen hired Ten Hag, and let's exclude the fact that they fired him after 2 games, but I think if Leverkusen hired Ten Hag, I think there will be opportunities for Amorim. Whether he'll abandon his weird formation, I don't know. How about the English game? City is also playing. Yeah, that might be a bit too. That might be a bit too much. What I was targeting was maybe like two or three sips per stream. But I feel like the criteria we've defined is like 30. So I think, to be honest, part of the reason I can't be bothered is because the bottle's on the floor and then I have to grab it. But once I received my fancy glasses, or fancy cups, as we'll say, then we'll be able to outline what the parameters are. Fish says you look like whoever that is. I googled that thing. I googled it. It's a supermarket. I didn't really understand the context. Zame says I don't think Voltamade starts because Hansi Flick plays a ridiculously high line, which Gordon, Elanga, and Barnes can exploit. Oh yeah, fair point. That's a good point. So if Barcelona are very high, stick 3 pacey players up front. They can get in behind and cause trouble. So from that perspective, it makes sense. Also, for an aggressive press when Barcelona build out from the back. Yep, from that perspective also, I guess the logic makes sense in terms of having these 3 up front. And I guess equally, Voltamade is still an option off the bench. If they need to change things up. In the second half. Charlotte says Alisson, Mamardashvili or Pesci. Well, that would be the order. So I'd put Alisson in 1, Mamardashvili in 2, and Pesci in 3. But it's probably a bit unfair if you think about it. Like Pesci's like what, 18? Mamardashvili hasn't had a chance. So for the most complete answer, ask me in about 10 years. then we'll know. But in terms of how the hierarchy is right now, it's literally like that. Anthony says, how do you mute your mic? There's a button. There's a green button here. I'm pretty sure if I press that, it will mute. But to be honest, I rarely need to mute. If I mute, I just switch to this thing. So I just switch to that be right back screen, which has no audio on it. Headed by Lewandowski, but Nick Pope gets to it first. Did we say Man City are also playing today? Oh yeah, Man City Napoli. Yeah, I've got faith. I've got faith this will be a good game. Charlotte says that's the correct way of looking at it. I certainly think so. To be fair, I have been wrong in the past. I do have a tendency to pick games that end up 0-0, whilst the accompanying game ends up 7-0. But you never know. Yeah, the return of King Kevin. I'm sure you'll get a good reception. I'd love it if he scored. Is what's his name? Is Højlund also at Napoli now? Yeah, he's playing. Højlund's playing up front. So return to Manchester for Højlund. He just got out. He just got out of that hellhole, and a week later, he's got to catch a flight back there. Free kick to Newcastle, man. Cleared. Ooh, Barcelona countering. But it's Rashford, so nothing happens. Ikram says, who's the best Liverpool midfielder for tackling and creativity in Premier League history? I'd go for Stevie G. Very good tackler. If you need evidence of that, watch the 2005 Champions League final where he was playing right back. Creativity, yeah. If you're asking in terms of a combination, I'd go with Gerrard. Harry says, hello, how are you? I just got back home. Yeah, I'm good. How are you? How was your speech? Your speech you had to deliver as the head boy. How did your speech go? And what was the speech about? Fish doesn't care. I'm intrigued though. He was saying yesterday he had to do a speech to parents. I did ask that. I did ask that yesterday. I said, is the speech about fish? Harry's doing all right. Says, I'm all right, thanks. Just very tired. The speech was to encourage people to join our school. Ah, right. So it was to encourage people to join your secondary school. Was there a structure to your speech? Did you structure it in terms of giving an introduction about the school and then maybe listing a few positives and then finishing it off by saying, if you don't join, I will send fish after you? Yeah, I was originally gonna say, did you give pros and cons? But thinking about it, probably don't want to give any cons. the cons, the cons are that they care too much and they try too hard. A bit like Newcastle, who are trying very hard. Ooh, Elanga with a rapid pace. Elanga with a rapid pace. That should be a goal. Oh, he doesn't finish it. Harvey Barnes should be finishing that. As I think, as Zayn was saying earlier, they got in behind. Low cross by Elanga. Harvey Barnes really should have finished that. Harry's at the end of his fish tether. Says, "Fish, stop being so self-centered. Not everything's about you." Harry says, "Yeah, I just wrote random stuff, and the head girl did some stuff, and other people did it." Right. So it was a collective effort. Either way, good to hear. Good to hear that went well. Mason Jason Aviation says, "Did you take a sip for the Napoli red card?" No. This has devolved from just goals in this game, which was my intention, to goals in every game, and also bookings and red cards in other games. I've only got a 2 litre water bottle. At this rate, I might need the sink like next to me. Yeah, Harvey Barnes should really finish that. Fish says he was head boy. Does that mean you're not head boy now? Did you get stripped of your head boy title? Was your title unceremoniously removed from you? Or did you resign in protest? Harry says, "You mean head fish." Makes sense. Corner for Barcelona. Rafinha going to be taking it. Sporting missed a penalty. Wow. Thankfully, there's no drink for that. Mason Jason Aviation says, "So you don't die. Do it for every kick by a Newcastle player." We can just go one step further. We can do every kick by a Newcastle player and every kick for a Barcelona player and every unit of oxygen breathed in by anyone in the stadium, not just the players on the pitch. That necessitates a sip. It's only fair. Finley says, "Up the mags, come on." To be fair, you've been playing very well. Harvey Barnes should have scored that. I don't know if you saw it, but Elanga broke down the right hand side with his absolutely rapid pace. To be fair, crossed it along the floor. Harvey Barnes should have really just tapped that in. But it is what it is. We're winning all the day. Up the mags. The mags are on top. Kwanzaa had a pretty good game earlier. Minamino not so much. I presume they play on different teams, right? So Kwanzaa's Leverkusen. Where is Minamino at these days? I kind of forgot that he existed. Finley says, "We've been absolutely all over them. Barnes has been good, just got unlucky." Fair enough. Not the end of the world. It's still encouraging to get into those positions. Is he still at Monaco? Takumi Minamino. I think Liverpool might have sold him to Monaco couple of years back. Yeah, Minamino's at Monaco. He had an assist, but lost 4-1. Hopefully the assist made him feel a bit better, if anything. Should be 2-0 also from the Gordon chance. Yeah, Newcastle have been completely on top here. Let's hope they can keep the pressure up. How you doing, Abdul? Abdul says Liverpool versus Everton and Liverpool versus Southampton lineup and prediction. So the Everton game's on Saturday, isn't it? And the Southampton game is on Tuesday, which is the EFL Cup. So I reckon Premier League game will be Alisson, Frimpong, Kanate, Van Dijk, Kirkers. So I think the whole Robertson experiment is over. Kirkers, but so Bosley, Gravenberch, because I think McAllister is still getting up to fitness. Wirtz, Salah, Gakpo, Ekitike, I think. Whereas the Southampton game will probably be Mamadashvili, Bradley, Leone, Gomez, Robertson, McAllister, Curtis Jones if he's fit. I don't know who will play number 10. Leone, so probably McAllister, Leone, possibly Curtis Jones if he's fit. Rio will be on the left, Chiesa on the right, and probably Isak up top. I think that's pretty good prediction, all things considered. Is there anything you would change? Jason Aviation is continuing his master plan to ensure I'm never thirsty again, and that involves a yellow card. Time to take a drink. But we forgot though that the referee put his hand in his pocket, and if the referee puts his hand in his pocket, I need to take a drink. So strictly speaking, that should be 2 drinks. Get United Rashford off. have you already had enough of him? The thing is with Rashford, I often feel like his body can't keep up with his mind. Like he seems to have these kind of exotic ideas, but when he tries to implement them, he looks like a fish out of water. Charlotte says, who partners Van Dijk in big games? Oh, Kanate, 100%. It used to be Gomez back in the day, it would be Kanate now. Fish is randomly saying Peter Gulassi, the goalkeeper, Hungarian guy. Ikram says, who's the best Liverpool player for versatility in European nights? I'd actually go for Dominic Szoboszlai. Because he can play attacking midfield, he can play defensive midfield, he can play right back, he can play striker if you really, really need. He can play winger if you really, really need. So that's every position apart from centre back or goalkeeper. So that to me sounds pretty versatile. Mason Jason Aviation says, when a goal goes in, I'm betting you there will be a Newcastle fan with no top on. There will be quite a few. Hopefully we don't have a repeat of yesterday where the Atletico fan took his top off and above his hairy nipple was a beautiful tattoo of Diego Simeone. Eddie Howe thankfully doesn't feel like the type of guy you'd get a tattoo of, so we should be okay, but you never know. We might have a repeat of yesterday. Crossed by De Jong, and nothing happens. Can Kirkers provide more pace than Robertson? 100%. Kirkers, I mean, especially today, in the modern day, Robertson, you'd argue, is at the latter end of his career, whereas Kirkers' career is just starting. Robertson's 30, Kirkers is like 22. So as you've seen, Kirkers is a lot quicker. Now, who's quicker, Robertson in his prime or Kirkers? That I'm not sure about. But right now, in terms of speed, you'd have to go for Mr. Milosh. What's happened? Yeah, the game seems to have stopped a bit. The average, yeah, and the average Atletico fan as well yesterday. I never really understand the. I never really understand the obsession with getting a tattoo of another person's face on you on your body, but it's free country and all that. Kieran says Howe's, that's not Eddie Howe, but Howe's Newcastle is not winning. Eddie Howe's Newcastle are not winning, indeed. But specifically with that, they have been on top. A bit of lackluster finishing. It almost seemed like Harvey Barnes couldn't believe his luck. Like he just had the ball dropped to him in a position where that kind of felt a bit too good, and then he kind of scuffed it. To a certain degree, it reminded me a bit of the Salah chance yesterday. You know the one where Wirtz and Szoboszlai kind of got in each other's way, so they crossed it to Salah. Salah probably didn't expect to receive such an easy chance, so he absolutely smashed it and he hit the bar. Pixel is going to get a full live stream tattoo on his back. Thankfully, at the very least, it's on your back. I think that's a positive. If it was on your hand, I'd be worried. And the guy yesterday had it like on his chest. But back I can tolerate. I will get a pixel tattoo on my back. Rio says, is Rashford playing? He is playing. He's doing his standard thing of running around a lot and looking really busy, but not really being particularly effective. Jason says, what's your favorite Liverpool player right now? Right now, I mean, last season it was Ryan Gravenberch. This season, it's a bit too early to say. You know what I mean? Because there've not been too many games. But I'm happy to say Ryan Gravenberch again. Rio says, who's been better? I'd say Newcastle have been on top. Yeah, that's the thing. That's better wording, to be honest. So Rashford is on the pitch. It doesn't mean that he's actually playing. He's there. I mean, he's physically there. But is he there? It's a bit of a lights are on but nobody is home kind of situation. $7 days until Rio gets FC 26. Nice. Were you saying yesterday that as soon as you get it, instant Liverpool career mode? Makes sense, to be fair. Speaking of, that game is out today, Dying Light, whatever. What's it called? Dying Light the Beast. Mason Jason Aviation says goal for Frankfurt scored by Doan. Nice. Sanchez. Fair enough. 1-1. 1-1 against Galatasaray. Yeah, Frankfurt tied it up 1-1. That would be a close game, I think. Man City game is also still 0-0. It's a bit weird having Champions League on a Thursday, I can't lie. Will I get used to it? Probably not. Rio thinks I look like Jinder Mahal. Really? If I don't know what wrestler I look like. I've never felt like I look like Jinder Mahal. Is there more next week? I don't think so. I think next week is a bit lighter, which is needed at this point because I'm running on about 5% energy. So there's a cup game, Liverpool Southampton, I think on Tuesday, EFL Cup. Actually, I should have it here. Yeah, in terms of Liverpool fixtures next week, so this Saturday, as in the day after tomorrow, there's Liverpool Everton 12:30 on a Saturday, which is crazy, considering they finished at 10 p.m. on a Wednesday. That doesn't really leave much recovery time. But yeah, the next game's on Saturday morning. Then there's another one on Tuesday, which is Liverpool Southampton. That at least will be Carabao Cup. So the players will get a rest. And then the game after that is on Saturday. And then Galatasaray versus Liverpool is the next Champions League. So it's not next week. I think it's the week after. That explains it. Mason Jason Aviation says Europa League is back next week. Yeah, it makes sense. Champions League the week after. Ginger. I'm calling him Ginger Mahal, but Jinder Mahal when he had short hair. Yeah, I don't see it. Somebody was calling me Riyad Mahrez the other day. Mason Jason Aviation says, "Where's your bed?" Upstairs, different room. This is officially a bedroom if you look at the plans for the house, but I don't use it as a bedroom. I just use it as a games room and as chill out room. So I have a gaming PC over there and some random stuff, and then I've got this set up over here. But when I was viewing this house over there was a bed by the previous owners, but I don't use this one as a bedroom. Ikram says, "Is Liverpool spending sustainable long term?" Yeah, I'd say so. Because if you think about it, they didn't really buy anybody for 3 windows. Number one, so they've saved up their money. Point one. Point two, they also raised quite a lot through sales, which helped to offset what was spent. So I'd say, generally speaking, that their spending plans are sustainable. That's why they do them. But equally, like next window, next year, they're not going to spend this much money again. I think this was the major window, if you think about it. And I think following windows will be more incremental. Charlotte says, Elden Ring, Dark Souls 2 or Sekiro. I'll be honest, not much of a Souls type of guy. I love games, but I don't like games where when you die, all your progress disappears. Because then I feel like I've wasted my time. I could sit there learning all the button combinations and learning exactly which way the boss is gonna dodge. But I ain't got time for that. Derwood says, "Are you going to be back for the United game?" I think so. Yeah. Mason Jason Aviation mentioned it yesterday, saying there's United Chelsea on Saturday, and I was like, "What?" Is there? I made the mistake of just seeing when the Liverpool game was and be like, "Okay, 12:30, I'm done." And then Mason Jason mentioned there's also a United game, so yeah, I should be able to do both. The good thing is there is a bit of a break, so the what's the word? The Liverpool stream is 12:30 UK time, which means it finishes about 2:30. And the Man United Chelsea is 4:30, so I should get a bit of a break. Mason Jason says, "I thought this was your bedroom." Oh no, my bedroom's upstairs. My bedroom's a bit under. There's just like a bed in there. I've got another one of those shelves in there. There's some wardrobes. But yeah, this is my quote unquote chill out room. Ikram says, "I love all your streams. Thank you very much." Mason Jason said, "Are you doing your daily live stream streak by streaming Real Betis versus Real Sociedad?" I wish I could. To be honest with you, I'm running on about 5% battery in my head right now, from going like 3 days in a row. So I think after this, and then tomorrow there'll be a nice break, and then I'll probably be back for 2 games on Saturday. Derwood says, "If Isak or Ekitike were playing, Newcastle would be up." I think that's a fair point. They are both certainly better finishers than Harvey Barnes. So yeah, I think that's a fair point. All things considered. I don't know what that means, Baron Clark. Quite a few people have been saying that. I'm like, what does that mean? And then I Googled it as well. And the answer on Google is it just doesn't mean anything. And I was like, what? So I don't understand the context. Derwood says, "I meant the Liverpool United game." Yes, I'll be back by then. I'll be back on like the 15th of October. And I think that one's on the 19th. So yeah, should be good for that one. Yeah, it's on Sunday the 19th. I might also do Bayern versus Dortmund, which is on the Saturday. If I'm not too jet lagged, but I should be okay. Ikram says, "Super Mario Odyssey, Super Mario Galaxy, or Super Mario 3D World?" To be honest, I've never been much of a Super Mario fan. To be honest with you, played them when I was younger. Played them when I was a kid. Mario Odyssey, is that Wii or is that Switch? I don't know the difference, to be honest. Not much of a Mario fan. I prefer more mature games, if that makes sense. Mason Jason Aviation says, "When is the house tour vid coming out?" Once I've cleaned up. one of the bedrooms upstairs, I've just got on the bed. There's just like tons of rubbish. Not rubbish, but there's like some shirts on there. There's some empty Amazon boxes. There's a backpack on there. There's some shower gel on there in a bottle. So yeah, maybe once I've tidied up a bit. Charlotte says, who's the best Liverpool striker for pace and finishing in big finals? You'd have to go for Salah, right? He's got pace. Granted, he's not as rapid as he once was, but he's got pace. And he's a good finisher, as we have come to see, and he performs in finals. Rio says, you look like that Galatasaray player with the beard. Do I look like more like him or more like Ginger Mahal? First half is over, so we can pause the timer. Frankfurt up 2-1. Oh, nice. Just before half time. 3-1. It's 3-1 now. Just as we was saying 2-1, I clicked on it and then it said 3-1. So C Uzun scored and then J Burkhardt has scored. So yeah, 3-1 will be quite difficult for Galatasaray to come back. Rio says, you sure we played Galatasaray? I don't recall seeing them in our spot. Yeah, I think so, yeah. As far as I'm aware, fairly certain, like not 95% sure that we are playing them. Would you rather speak every language or talk to animals? Yeah, talk to animals, definitely. I mean, speaking every language is nice, but eventually people just all say the same things. Whereas speaking to animals would be kind of cool. But yeah, 0-0 at half time. City and Napoli are also 0-0. Larry says, yo, you remember me? Yeah, from like 2 days ago. How are you doing? I hope you're good. Larry says, yo. Charlotte says, can Calvin Ramsey, who I've not heard that name in a while, become a reliable fullback option moving forward? The thing is with Calvin Ramsey, he played like one game and he looked really good in that one game. The problem is he keeps getting injured. I think he seriously injured one leg, and then after he recovered, he seriously injured another leg. So unfortunately now I don't think so. And I think what is also an indicator is he used to have the number 22 shirt, and they just took that off him and gave it to Ekitike and gave Ramsey some like random number. So I'd say based on the fact that he doesn't play and based on the fact that he keeps getting injured, I'd say it's unlikely, which is a shame because when he kind of first joined and he played a couple of minutes, he looked really, really good. Finley says, "What a half that was." Yeah, it was. It was a really good half. And even if Newcastle got a goal, to be fair, I think that would be fair. I think Barcelona a bit lucky for it to be 0-0, but it is what it is. Rager86 says, I haven't watched football since Van Nistelrooy was Man United striker. Have I missed much? Not really. Not really. All you've missed is 20 years of people kicking a ball into a net. So if we think about it that way, you have not missed much. So hopefully describing it like that makes you feel better. Fingers crossed. Finley said second half, Volta made and Bruno score. I'm telling you now. So would you go for a 2-0 win or a 2-1? Larry says, lol, we beat Atletico 3-2 and Simeone got a red card and got sent off. It was hilarious. Biggest rival Van Dijk scored at the third goal. It was a header in the 92nd minute at Anfield. Simeone is missing 3. Yeah, it was. This is yesterday's game. I mean, all things considered, I think it's fair that Liverpool won. If you look at the XG, Liverpool's XG was like 3. Atletico's XG was like 0. So Atletico didn't really do much. They got 2 jammy, lucky goals. So I don't think a draw would have been a fair result. I think Liverpool getting the win was representative of them being on top. Did you see the big fight? Is this the Simeone stuff? Yeah. It was a bit weird, like how much he was kicking off. Like even yesterday we were saying like, why is he acting like that? Like he's like 60. Like act your age. Like, and apparently today some news came out that some of his staff spat at people, and I'm like, if your staff are spitting at people, then you can't be outraged because it's kind of your fault. Kieran says, Tino Asperia in the. Are you in the crowd to score a goal? I thought you said he is in the crowd, but are you in the crowd? I mean, if he is in the crowd, you might have difficulty seeing him. I think he was quite short from what I remember. But if he is, just get him on the pitch. You never know. Larry's watching Barcelona versus Newcastle too. Yeah, good choice. Same here. Rio says United don't have any class players as they used to. Now they only have Bruno, who's decent. Yeah, that's probably the main change since the Van Nistelrooy days. Larry's disappointed. Says, for real, bro, you're so right. Derwood says, wait, please don't start the XG talk. Arsenal are number 1 on that. We can never claim that from them. That is true, to be fair. That is true. We don't want to think too. Oh wow, it's Arsenal Man City. Speak of the devil. Arsenal Man City on Sunday. Might have to be here for that. Larry says you kind of deserve the red card. Yes, yeah. So true. That's messed up. Yeah, and it's like the thing is like he still acts like he's 20. That's the thing. Like he's still like a proper hothead. Proper like starting fights and things. And I'm like, you're not 20 years old anymore. Like you're 55. Just have some shame. Have some shame and try and act relatively civilized. Ilanga's looking good, says Finley. Yeah, Ilanga was looking very good. Absolutely rapid down the right hand side. Really should have had a assist. And Rio saying Madueke or Ilanga. I'd go for Ilanga. I've always really liked Ilanga. Larry says Isak wasn't too bad. Yeah, I was quite happy with his performance, all things considered. The barely played Rio. Yeah, it was nice that he got a few more minutes though, because like in a lot of the kind of previous games, he only got like 5 minutes. But I think at least yesterday he got maybe 15, 20 minutes, which is a bit better. Aditya says, "Hey, how can I join a football club in the UK?" I mean, I'm not too sure what the process is, to be honest with you. Typically, I think you have to play football at like the kind of grassroots lower level, and then you have scouts. You have scouts from the professional teams who go to see the youngsters play, and then the youngsters get signed up that way. I think that's generally how it works. Not to say that's the only route, but that's the traditional route of how it works. I sent the link to the video of the incident to your Instagram. Nice. I will have a look at that. Rio says Simeone doesn't look too old. True, he doesn't look too old, but he's like 55. And I'm like, if you're pushing 60, like stop. It's probably a bit late for you to starting fights with people. Yeah, so the video says Simeone charges towards Liverpool fans. Oh yeah, okay. So the Atletico assistant manager threw a water bottle. Yeah, that's their fault by the looks of it. Yeah, Simeone needs to grow up 100%. Elanga created 2 chances. Elanga's looked effective. Rio says me or Madu AK. I'd go for Rio. Leighton aka Dexter aka Rollerfoot aka what was the other one? Was there a fourth one? I can't remember. But I hope you're good. Is it still lagging? If it's lagging, try YouTube. TikTok's a bit weird. Yeah, here the Robertson goal. Yeah, in many ways it was the easiest the easiest goal to score if you think about it. He basically just stood there, ball hit his backside, and kind of went in. Cengiz says, "Hello, bro. How you doing? How are things in the Netherlands?" I hope all is good in the land of Van Dijk, aka the land of Cengiz. Larry says, "Come on, the Reds." Rager86 says, "I remember back in the mid 2000s, everyone was moving to Real Madrid." To be honest, things haven't majorly changed from that perspective. So if you have indeed been in a coma for the past 20 years, that aspect has not actually changed. That's still the same. They do have a I'd say the only aspect that's changed with respect to that is instead of Real Madrid buying players now, they ask the players to let their contract expire. And then when a player's contract expires, they can then sign the player for a free. So that's pretty much the only way it's kind of different. But generally speaking, you're right. Leighton says it's fine now. How you been doing? Yeah, good, thank you. Very tired, I can't lie. But all good. How are you? Larry says true. Delwood says YouTube is fine. Yeah, what happened is I opened it was when I opened your Instagram video. It made TikTok lag, I think. Yeah, so that's another way Simeone has annoyed us. Mo Salah goal was good, says Larry. Yeah. proved a lot of the doubters wrong who have been saying for the past few days that we should sell him. He's no good anymore. Get rid of him. It proves the doubters wrong. Charlotte says you're such a fun entertainer. I try my best. I can't lie. I'm extremely tired today. But should be back to normal on Saturday once I've had the rest. Ray just says, haha, I see. Yeah. So to be fair, even though you have been in a coma for 20 years, you're still 85% correct. So that's that's pretty good going. It's pretty good going. Now, if you were to ask me why are the phones so small and where are the aerials on the phone, then that would be harder to explain. Ray just have 86 in his username, which I think means he's born in 1986. So he does remember phones with aerials out of the top. So that would be harder to explain. Leighton made a TikTok Rollerfort account and hit 1K. Very nice. What do you post on there? What kind of stuff? Ikram says Volkanovski, Ortega, or Holloway. Volkanovski number 1, Holloway number 2, Ortega number 3. Larry says, bro, it's all about Real Madrid and Barcelona. Real Madrid are always trying to take the best players. Do you agree? Yeah. And I think what's annoying, they've just kicked off. Newcastle did that funny kickoff, where they just kick the ball out so they can start the press. That will forever be funny. There we go. 45 minutes. But yeah, to be honest, I'd say it's probably more of a Real Madrid thing, even pinching the best players. But yeah, the recent trend is that they don't pay 80 million for Ronaldo, or they don't pay 90 million for Bale anymore. They wait for the player, whether it's 66 or whoever else, or Mbappe. Mbappe is probably the best example. Wait for him to run his contract down and get him on a free. Rio says Messi's taller than you. He's absolutely not taller than me. I'm like 5'10", 5'11" with shoes, and I think Messi's maybe like 5'8" or something. He had to get escorted out. Yeah, he needs to act his age. Yeah, he doesn't actually look too old. So he's in quite good physical condition. He's got more hair than I have. But it's the flip side is like you're 55. You can get in somebody's face, but if you push somebody, nothing's gonna happen because you're 55. So it's just a bit silly. R6 content by Rollerfort, very nice. Araja was wondering why his sat phone, or pager were not working. Yeah. Give me 1 second, sorry. That annoying website is disconnected. Not YouTube. YouTube works fine, but t'other one. Which I have now fixed. Back up and running. Yeah, shocks. Fred says it's gone. Yeah, I've fixed it now. But that's the annoying thing about that website. It will just randomly go down. I have fixed it, but if you want a website that doesn't go down, YouTube seems to work. But yeah, sat phones. I never had a sat phone. I've always wanted a pager. I appreciate they probably don't work now because we don't have the networks for them. But I might just get one for nostalgia's sake. Larry says 66 is injured. Indeed, he is. I don't know if he will be fit for the Liverpool game. Wait, what says what is that? I don't know what that means, but it's probably nothing positive. Larry says, I don't think Arne Slot has ever had hair. He's been bald forever. He's been bald for a very long time. So he was bald when he was playing. At the very start of his playing career, he had hair. And I've seen pictures of him with hair. It just doesn't look right. I think he looks better bald. Like, imagine seeing Guardiola with hair, like long hair. It would just look weird. You know what I mean? I think once a person's been bald for a while, they then look weird with hair. So I hope he doesn't go to Turkey and get something done, because I prefer him bald. Yeah, even Charlotte says for sure facts right there. Larry says for real, rather bold Slot. Yeah, it's weird. Like if he had always had hair, like I'll try and find you a picture. If he had always had hair, like that's him with hair there. So it just looks a bit strange, doesn't it? It's like, and the thing is, he hasn't just got hair. He's got like proper thick hair, which makes me wonder, how did it fall out? To be fair, my hair was very thick when I was young as well. But yeah, he just looks strange. He just looks a bit odd there. Taste Tester says, how's it, man? I know I normally say all good, but to be honest, absolutely exhausted. Absolutely shattered. But I'll probably be so I'll probably be taking a rest. I'm glad there's no football games tomorrow, but probably be taking a rest. But be back on Saturday. How are you? How is day? Are you on day 4 of your 3-week holiday? I believe, but I hope day 4 is going good. Ikram says, would you rather be a master of music or master of cooking? I'd say master of music, because I think music is harder to learn than cooking. And if you really want good food, you can order it or you can go to a restaurant. Whereas you can't really replicate music. Yeah, I know you can listen to it, but you know what I mean. So I'd say master of music. Taster Tester says Frankfurt dominating their match. It was 3-1 the last time I checked. And what's the current score? Yeah, 3-1 still. They scored 2 goals in injury time, which is pretty crazy. Larry says what the Sigma? Yeah, it looks weird with hair. Shocks. Fred says it looks like AI. Larry also said it looks like AI. Yeah, it looked like very bad AI on a slot with hair. So hopefully he stays bold for the foreseeable future. Rio says hello. Yeah, that TikTok disconnected because that's all it ever does. But I've reconnected that. I think what I need to do is because it disconnects because it says I'm not active, and I'm like, I am active, I'm right here. So I think if I put a dot in the chat, it will think I'm active and it won't close it. David can't wait for the derby. Same here, looking forward to it. 12:30 on Saturday, should be a good one. Rashford needs to get subbed, says Taster Testers. Yeah, when we were kind of talking about Rashford earlier, we were kind of saying his mind is there, but his body doesn't seem to do what his mind wants him to do. So he seems to come up with all these kind of elaborate ideas in his head, but then when he tries, it just comes off looking really bad. Quite a few people want Rashford off. Taste the Testers wants Rashford off. Larry wants Rashford off. Rashford's performing poorly. Yeah, like Rashford's that guy. That guy at work who like looks really busy but doesn't actually do anything. You know those type of people. They look really busy, but they're not actually doing anything. That's Marcus Rashford. Taste the Testers leave is going good. I've been winning on my soccer betting 3 days in a row. I'm hoping I can make it number 4 today. Nice, quite a nice streak going there. Fingers crossed. Nice, a nice start to your holiday. Taste the Testers needs a Man City and a Barcelona win. Fingers crossed they win to keep your streak going. Larry says, is he 17, 18? Possibly a bit younger. Harry is back after ages. How you doing, Harry? Hope you're good. I hope you enjoyed Harvey Elliott. Scored quite a nice goal the other day. I'm not sure how I feel about Harvey Elliott in the number 9 shirt though. Oh, Larry and Harry know each other. That's pretty cool. I'm liking that. But yeah, good goal for Harvey Elliott the other day. How do you feel about him in the number 9 shirt though? Durwood wanted Rashford off after 5 minutes. To be fair, you did. You did. I can confirm. I can confirm you wanted him off after 5 minutes. Tuchel is in the crowd. Oh right, okay, fair enough. That's still cool. That's still cool. Larry says Mo Salah has the best smile. Who agrees? Yeah, I think Salah's got a good smile. I'm going through all the players, but I'm like, I'm trying to come up with an alternative. I was gonna say Kanate, but I think Salah's got a good smile. Oh yeah, Frimpong, as David said. Yeah, Frimpong. Yeah, that's a good one to be fair. Frimpong's got a good smile. Does Marv off Home Alone look like Harry Maguire? I mean, a little bit. Maybe the nose to a certain degree. Charlotte says John Jones, Reyes, or Jan Blachowicz. Unfortunately, that would be the order. As much as I dislike a certain somebody there, I'd have to put John Jones number 1. Taste the Tester says, in my workplace, I got a Solomon. He'll spend the whole day at the potatoes and only end up packing 12. He's our Rashford. Yeah, that's the perfect kind of analogy in comparison. In terms of, they look really, really busy, but you look at what they've actually delivered at the end of the day and it's nothing. And the thing is, in comparison, there'll be somebody else who goes on their phone, who makes jokes, but then actually does do the work. But yeah, Rashford's definitely a Solomon. Yeah, maybe Robertson's got a good smile, but I think Frimpong, 100%. Who's got the worst smile? The worst smile is probably Kirkes. I've never seen that guy smile. He's just 100% serious all the time. Shocks Fred says City 1-0. Nice. Let's have a quick look at that. I'm just on the Frankfurt one, but I'll switch that one. Haaland, of course. I was thinking who would have scored, and of course it's Haaland. Yeah, Isak's. Ooh, Barcelona have scored. It's Rashford. Solomon has scored. Solomon has just scored. I take everything back about Solomon. Solomon has peeled 13 packs of potato today. Solomon Rashford has scored. I literally just saw the ball go in. That picture is absolutely terrifying. That's probably why he doesn't smile. I like. I think Kirkers should just remain as serious as possible. So it's Frankie De Jong. I mean, Rashford had a clear header. Is that Joe Linton who was supposed to be? Who's Newcastle's number 5? Tonali, isn't it? No. Is it the Fabian Shaw? Maybe should have got a bit tighter. Rashford had completely a completely open header there. Larry says yes, Rashford. Let's go. I'll change the score then to 1-0. There you go. Oh, not to Barcelona, sorry. Not to Newcastle, to Barcelona. Let's go, Sharkmouth, lol. Sharkmouth Solomon. Dawood says, nah, they would have scored earlier if he was off, but fair play, good header, yeah. If I am to be slightly critical, it was a free header, but equally he got a lot of power on it. But speaking of headers, Mr. Voltamade is coming on now. Ikram says, rank these 4 players for composure in finals. Gerrard, Alisson, Salah, Van Dijk. You couldn't pick 4 more players to make that more of a difficult question, if you think about it. Like, at least from a Liverpool perspective, like you could those are like the 4 closest. Larry's saying Gerrard 1, Van Dijk 2, Salah 3, Alisson 4. Yeah. To be fair, that's probably quite a accurate ranking. If somebody else somebody else might put it differently, and I feel to a certain degree there's no wrong answers, but generally speaking, I'd probably go for that. Larry says, let's go. It wasn't a bad header. It was not. He got a lot of power on it, to be fair to him. Taster Tester says now sub him, yeah. It's only downhill from here by the sounds of it. Get him off. Rio says I look like whoever that is. I'm not sure who that is. Larry says that's my honest ranking. It's a good ranking. Taster Tester says, did you ever get a chance to watch Lights Out? I'm the type of person who I spread a movie over multiple days. So I have started watching it. It did give me a bit of a jump at the start, where she's putting the light on, off, nobody there. On, off, nobody there. On, off, and then there's a creature there. I was like, whoa, wasn't expecting that. So I am making my way through it. I'm just a bit odd in the sense I tend to spread the movie out over multiple days. Newcastle making quite a few changes. Larry says, let's go. Larry says, can we see who's on the back of your jersey? I think it's Alan Hansen or something. Hey. I don't know if it's... Thing is, I've got so much stuff on the floor, I'm going to end up knocking stuff over. I don't know if you can see it. If that's coming up or not. Yeah, that came up. You could see that. In fact, this is, I think, 80s. I don't know the exact year, but quite an old shirt. I can put my water bottle back on the right side because I'm right-handed. Did you drink when Barcelona scored? I did not, but I did just drink just then. So we'll pretend that's what it's. We'll pretend that's what it was for. Paul Shaw, yeah, he should have been a bit tighter on Rashford, but it is what it is. Rio says, Singer barber shop haircut that costs a quarter. I don't know the lyrics to that. Larry says, thanks, no problem. Taster Tester says, how many do you own? A lot, but the mostly kind of replicas. Like, I bought this last week, so it's more of a kind of replica one. But in terms of total numbers, quite a lot. Yeah, I think officially it's like an 80s thing. Larry says, no way Rashford scored. Everyone wanted him gone. To be fair, he was playing quite atrociously for the majority of this game. And then he just popped up out of nowhere with a goal. So it was a bit of a surprise. Can't lie, but a goal's a goal. Michael Moon says, yes, boss, how you doing? Enjoying the season? First time I've seen you since pre-season. Oh, wow, quite a long time. But yeah, I'm good. Good, thank you. Was watching the Liverpool game yesterday. Nice win against Atletico. So yeah, that was good. How's things with you? I hope you are doing well. Larry says, can we see your hair? There isn't really much hair at the moment. Not really much. Not quite on a slot level, but maybe. But it was on a slot level last week. Barcelona 2-2 draw. Could happen. Rio says City winning 2-0. Doku gets the second goal. Yeah, City have probably won that. Ikram says, Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, or Zelda Skyward Sword. Okay, I know a bit more about these. Breath of the Wild, that came out on the Wii and the Switch. Tears of the Kingdom came out on the Switch. Skyward Sword, I don't know what that is. I'd say Breath of the Wild, because that's the one I've played. Oh my god, right, what's going on? Rashford just scored from outside the box. What's going on? He just smacked it in. Rashford just smacked it in from outside the box. What's going on? This should not be happening. He's been terrible the entire game. And he just smacked it in from like 20 yards out. Maybe even further. So just seeing the replay. That's a much better goal, I think. Tonali kind of fails to get near him. Rashford creates the space, and it's one of those. It kind of hits the bar and then goes in. Fair play. That's a good goal. First one I was hating on, but with that you just gotta say fair point. Yeah, crazy FC guy. I'm in shock. We've been hating on Rashford all day, and rightfully so. But that was a pretty amazing goal. Derwood says, I'll take my comments back. Maybe just for this game. Zaim says, form is temporary, class is permanent, I guess. To be fair, it's probably the opposite in the case of Rashford. Class is temporary, i.e. just this game. And form is permanent, which is being rubbish every other game. Is it Man City? You're saying that will be your prediction, Tester's prediction, Man City 3-0. Probably a good prediction, all things considered. Napoli have got Højlund up front, so let's be honest, they're not going to be scoring anytime soon. Michael says, happy to hear it. All good, thanks. 4 games, 4 wins, 1 win in the Champions League. We're inevitable, yeah. Pretty much a perfect start to the season. I had somebody saying to me today that Liverpool are not doing well this season, and I was like, what? They've literally won every single game. What are you talking about? So some of the nonsense we have to listen to sometimes is it's quite funny. Red card for Napoli, says David. Yeah, Napoli are not scoring. Derwood says, why does Tuchel look so mad that he scored? I think that's Tuchel's default facial expression. Whether he's happy or whether he's sad or whether he's euphoric or whether he's depressed. Same facial expression for everything. Larry says, what a goal, in capital letters. Yeah. I mean, he has been poor for the majority of the game, but equally, if you score 2 goals, and if 1 goal is amazing, then that redeems you to a certain degree. Taster Tester says, I saw a video where he was like less than 10 feet and kicked it wide, so I guess he wants a new video now, 100%. Crazy FC guy says, did you laugh when Simeone got a red card? To be honest, no. To be honest, I was just really confused. I was like, what's going on, number one? And number two, why is this 55-year-old man trying to start a fight? Like, he needs to start kind of acting his age and, you know, start acting a bit more civilized. Like, I'd understand if he was like a 20-year-old player or something, or like a 30-year-old player, but it's like you're probably someone's granddad. Stop trying to start fights. So to be honest, I was just extremely confused. Just extremely confused the whole time. Larry gets it as well, says keep Rashford on. David says, yeah, oh, that's weird. It's a bit delayed on TikTok. I think YouTube should be normal speed, but TikTok is a bit delayed, unfortunately. Taster Testers enjoys PUBG because I like getting the last 4 and making people very angry. What is it specifically about your playstyle that makes people very angry? Like, is it something specific you do? And if it is something specific, let me know, because then I will do the same. Oh my god, I thought that was Rashford again, but that was Rafinha. In terms of those kind of PUBG type of games, I did have a phase where I'd play Fortnite quite a lot. I do okay. I was not amazing at it, but I do okay. But yeah, they're good. They're good fun. They are good fun. Apex Legends, Warzone, or Fortnite? Probably Fortnite. I know it's going to be controversial to maybe stick that above Warzone. Frankfurt 4, Galatasaray 1. Yeah, Frankfurt are winning that. Larry says, not gonna lie, we all just got proved wrong. To a certain degree, yes, but I think it doesn't it doesn't change what we were saying because he was really, really poor. So we were just saying, you know what, he hasn't really done much. So I think that's still valid. Michael says PUBG was decent a few years ago. Never got into Fortnite. Apex had its day years back. Yeah, I never played Apex Legends, to be honest with you. Fortnite, I had phases where I'd play a lot and then I get bored of it. The annoying thing is with Fortnite is they have seasons, and then like after every season they completely change the map, and then sometimes you're like, I don't like this new map, because there's only one map at a time, and then you're like, I don't like this new map anymore. So that is whilst it refreshes the game, it can also make you dislike the game. But yeah, Warzone I tried. Warzone I just couldn't really get into. Taster Tester says maybe he heard us. Yeah, maybe he did. He should credit us for the motivation with that in mind. His first goal, yeah, he was, yeah. I think there was a certain amount of luck involved because he had a free header, but free header unmarked. I appreciate he got a lot of power into it, but it is what it is. But the second goal was a lot better. Tio's Goat says hi. Larry says lucky goal. It was. Tio's Goat says, for me, Hugo Ekitike was one of the best signings this season in football. He's looking good. I mean, he's looking good. I can't lie. Significant improvement over Nunes, which, to be fair, isn't difficult. But equally, he's gotten a few goals early on, which is always nice. He's quite strong. Like, he's quite skinny, so you wouldn't think he was strong. But he's quite strong. Good finisher. Quite quick as well. I think what I quite like about him is that he's very different. Not very different, but he's different-ish to Isak. So you can have one type of striker, and then if that's not working, you can bring on a different type of striker. So I think, I think things are looking positive. You ever had a dabble on Rainbow Six Siege? Honestly, it's the best FPS currently. I've not. That's like a team-based. Is it like one of those Tom Clancy type of ones? I have not. But if it's good, I might need to give that a go. Last game I completed was Silent Hill 2, which was very good. There's a new game out tomorrow called Dying Light the Beast, which is the third iteration. Dying Light 1, 7 years, not 7, oh my god, 10 years ago. 10 years ago was very good. And Dying Light 2 a few years ago was also very good. So I'm looking forward to playing that. Tio's Goat says Nunes just for the money. Yeah, you're right. We got decent enough money for him. So I'm happy with how that worked out. Gibbo says Ayo. Shout from Chicago, bro. Very nice. Good stuff. Is Chicago East Coast? Or is it? It must be East Coast, right? But yeah, I hope things are well in Chicago. Chicago is one of the places I do want to visit. Yeah, it's kind of central. But yeah, it's apparently one of the best destinations. Durwood says, hello, fellow American. Durwood's in Ohio. Ohio doesn't look that far from Chicago, but to be fair, America is massive. So it's tough to see. So far in America, I've only done New York and Philadelphia. So I've got a lot of exploring left to do. I am not going to Texas, but other places, other places maybe. In PUBG, the first has the better weapons, so find a good SMG and good rifle with scope and sit. Oh right, so basically you camp. That's why people find you annoying. Fair enough if it works. I'm the complete opposite. I run around like a crazy person with an SMG or with a shotgun, and that annoys people a lot. Just running around and like jumping as you run with a shotgun. That's generally my play style on most games, and it tends to irritate people, which is always good. DTO's Goat says big competition in right wing because Salah and Chiesa are both very technical players. Yeah, and I think that's good. I almost felt like Salah played a few too many games last season, and I think especially with him kind of getting older now, we need to be able to rest him, number one, and number two, we need to have a level of confidence that whoever comes in to replace him can at least do a decent job. Maybe not as good a job as Salah does, but can at least do a decent job. And I think I think Chiesa is good in that sense. He can come in, he can do a job, he can perform well. Granted, he won't be Salah's level, but we're unlikely to have Salah's level on the bench. So I think that's pretty good going. Frankfurt 5-1, yeah. Wow. So yeah, City 2-0. Frankfurt 5-1. Yeah. Yeah, Galatasaray are not coming back from that. Oh, Barcelona through again. I know it's 2-0 here, but like 2-0 kind of doesn't feel fair. Doesn't feel fair on Newcastle. They deserve at least a goal. Taste Testers used to do that in Warth, and that's how I play kind of Call of Duty. Ideally with a automatic shotgun, so you don't have to keep pulling trigger. You can just hold the button down and you're good. But yeah, I kind of enjoy doing that. And I get kind of all the perks that make me as fast as possible. So I tend to like run at people, like dodge things and like slide into them and then slide into their face and then use it then. It annoys people so much. It's kind of hilarious. Rashford is coming off. Danny Olmo is coming on. Tio's Goat says big competition in striker because of Isak and Hugo. Yeah, and I think that's good. I think we need to have viable options on the bench, who number one can provide competition, as you said, and number two can take some minutes off of the senior players, because whilst Liverpool did do very well last year, the flip side is they went out of the FA Cup very early, and they also went out the Champions League quite early. And you could certainly make the argument that was because they didn't have enough depth on the bench or enough quality on the bench. So now that you've got someone like Ekitike on the bench, you'd hope to go further in the cup competitions. And even then, it might not even be a case where Ekitike is permanently a bench player. Ekitike and Isak might play together. Ekitike might play in Akpo's place. So it's good to have that flexibility. Fish is back, which is always a good thing. Did you make the potato you were talking about yesterday? You know the potato you were going to make that you asked for tips for? I hope you made that. Taster Tester's favourite place to visit is his bed because he's always at work, so being at home feels like a holiday. Understandable. Yeah, sometimes you just need to relax, and I don't think human beings are designed to be like doing things 24/7. So yeah, sometimes I think you just need to relax. Larry says, yo, your boy's back. Good to hear. Good to have you back, Larry. DTO's GOAT says, honestly, some people might not agree, but for TO's GOAT, Hugo is better. Wow. I guess we'll find out. I guess we'll find out at the end of the season. I think they're both good, and I think they both have strengths. If I had to pick one, like I would pick Isak. Um, but both are very good, and I don't think Liverpool have been in a position for many years where they've had two good strikers. Like it's always basically just been one good striker and a second one who's kind of not as good. So we're in a lucky position to have two good strikers. Durwood says Barcelona has looked a lot better in the second half. They bought out the Barcelona Rashford. That is true. That's how we will spin it. First half was United Rashford. Second half was Barcelona Rashford. Charlotte says, what's your favorite place to visit? New York was really nice. I went earlier in the year. I went to Prague. Prague was nice. Lisbon was nice. Berlin, that was nice. Paris, I thought was overrated. Paris felt very, 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 very similar to London. It didn't really feel like a holiday. So Paris felt a bit overrated, if I'm honest with you. But I am going to Canada in 2 weeks, so that answer might change. Taste says 10 minutes away from Money in the Bank. Is this like a wrestling thing, like Money in the Bank pay-per-view? Is that what it is? Or have I got the interpretation wrong? Milan says, where are you from? I'm from the UK. But speaking of Milan, I am going to Italy in December, so I'm looking forward to that. SH says, didn't know you were live today. What a pleasant surprise. That's appreciate the compliment. That is very kind. But yeah, hope you're doing good. I'm live, but I'm barely hanging on, to be honest with you. I am live, but very tired. How's things with you? I hope you're doing good. What do you think about the new Georgian keeper we got? I don't know how to say his name. Georgi Mamadashvili. He looks good. He's very tall, 6'6", very highly regarded. He's also an international. I'd say he's probably as good a second keeper as you could hope for, really. All things considered. SH lives in Florentina. Very nice. Good stuff. Is that like Florence? Is that the same thing as Florence, or is that like a different place, Florentina? But yeah, looking forward to going to Italy. I've never been before. I need Man City to win and Barcelona to win from fourth straight win on my fourth day of leave. Yeah, to keep your streak going, right? I hope they win. SH says, hope you're well too, mate. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Just quite tired. Streamed 3 days in a row, so I am muffling my words a little compared to usual, but all good. How's things with you? Hope you're doing good. Florence, very nice. Yeah, I'm looking forward to go. Have you been to Rome before? You must have been if it's not too far. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Colosseum, Pantheon, Vatican City, Sistine Chapel, all of that good stuff. I'm probably going to end up eating pizza every single day, so I might need to get a wider webcam for when I come back. Milan says, I think Mamadashvili is too good to be a second keeper. I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. I think the thinking is he will kind of, and I think how they would have sold it to him is that you're going to be competing with Alisson. So they'll probably say, you're not the backup, you're the competition for Alisson. Me and you know that means backup. But you're the competition, and it's your goal to usurp him. Florentina is a word the locals use for the area. Right, very. I'm English born and bred. Makes sense, yeah. Rome was great aside from the pickpockets, yeah. It's symptomatic of kind of many of the kind of big kind of touristy destinations like Barcelona. That's one of the benefits, like, I know I seem very friendly, but like if you saw me on the street, like I just look really scary. So then people generally don't come up to me. Of course, you can get pickpocketed by anybody, but generally speaking, people avoid me. They think I'm a social recluse, which I am. But when people hear me speak, they say, "Oh, okay, he's not too bad." The last time Napoli had the ball was before De Bruyne went off. Yeah, I think City. Oh, Anthony Gordon. Anthony Gordon scores. Anthony Gordon with his headband. It might be a tense finish here. Might be a tense finish. That goal kind of came out of nowhere. Was it Jacob Ramsey with the cross? Gordon's clearly onside. Nice finish. That's a nice finish. Yeah, sorry, not Jacob Ramsey, Jacob Murphy. He's a good crosser of the ball. He got the assist the other day for Voltamade as well. SH got his camera stolen. That is unfortunate. Yeah, with kind of pickpockets. It can definitely be a bit nervy. In a lot of these cities, like the Romes, the Barcelonas, and so forth, there's fortunately far too many. Florence and Napoli, however, are gorgeous. Nice. I am going on a day trip to Naples. I think Rome is very, very well connected from a kind of train perspective. So yeah, looking forward to that. Never been to Italy before. Charlotte says, if you could redesign your dream bedroom, what would it look like? To be honest, I designed this room. I know you can't see much of it, but I designed this room. The thing is, it depends what is already in the bedroom. Because like in my bedroom, there's fitted wardrobes, which I know everybody over 70 loves. Because, oh, they're fitted wardrobes. But I wish they weren't there, so that I could put something there. So you know what I mean? It depends what is already there. But in my bedroom, to be honest, it's not as fancy as it's not as fancy as this room. Derwood says, good goal. True Scaz trying to get the last minute win. Yeah, he's been inspired by yesterday's events. Taste the tester says, hold on, Barca. I love my girlfriend. Good username. Says, how much overtime? 7 minutes. So about 5 minutes to go. SH says, I hope you're visiting a part of the Alps. Absolutely breathtaking. Yeah, I've heard they're pretty amazing, and it's one of those things that you gotta see. So I'm putting the itinerary together at the moment. Part of the reason why I'm so tired. Anthony says, what your room look like? This room, there's like a gaming PC. You're on TikTok, so on TikTok it's vertical, so you can't see it. But there's like gaming PC, there's another screen, there's a big mirror, there's a shelf with some cool stuff on it. One of the walls is painted black. I think it's pretty cool. Would you rather have unlimited books or movies? I know this is probably the wrong answer, but movies. I've never been much of a book type of person. What do you think of Liverpool? Says Big A. In terms of the football team or the city, or what context? Football team's very good. They've won every single game. Can't get much better than that. City's nice. Yeah, it's good. It's I like the fact that it has kind of the docks. You know what I mean? So like most cities don't kind of have a waterfront. Most cities are just quite industrial, tall, fancy buildings and a city centre. Whereas Liverpool also kind of has the docks and the boats, and so it's got something a bit different going for it. So I'd say that's a positive. So something a bit different. Whereas if you go to say your Londons, your Birminghams, and so forth, they're just surrounded by land, so they don't have anything like that. Taste Tester says Man City game finished. Probably a good win for them then. SH says inspired by Origi and Wijnaldum. Yeah, good inspiration. Good sources to draw inspiration from. Anthony says you should give us a house tour one day. Yeah, Jason was saying that earlier. I'll need to clean up a bit first. Badger says, just imagine Liverpool win every game with 114 points. That would be literally the perfect season. So didn't Arsenal get like a gold trophy for the Invincible season? I almost feel like if you win every single game, you'd need like a platinum trophy, or would that be too expensive? Like Barcelona, is very industrial. Yeah, it's a bit like that. I'd say the buildings are different. I say typically whenever you go to Spain or like Portugal, you feel like you're in a different place because the buildings are different. The buildings are orange. Whereas when you go to Paris, you feel like you're in the UK because the buildings are grey and kind of black. So I'd say that's what I like about, like, I was going to say South America. That's not South America. But you know, like Spain and Portugal, like it's not too far from England, but you still feel like you're in a different world. SH is so excited for the Leone debut. Yeah, me too. We don't have long to wait. Only a couple of days. Thursday. So yeah, looking forward to seeing him on Thursday. Durwood says we need to see your kitchen. Yeah, I could show you. There's a picture of it somewhere, probably on my Instagram. It's nothing fancy. It's nothing huge. It is modern, but it's not like humongous. But it's pretty good. I'm quite happy with it. Henderson, Gerrard, or Alonso? Gerrard. Badger says that's B, the record or. What do you mean by that? Still very traditional, however, Barcelona. Yeah. Barcelona has a good kind of mixture. A good mixture of old stuff and new stuff, I'd say. Use SofaScore for live scores. More up to date. Oh, is it? Okay. I use BBC, which is like the British Broadcasting Corporation website, but maybe I should start using SofaScore from now on. Yeah, I'll use those. I'll use that from now on. There you go. Going with Taste the Tester's recommendation. Anthony says a Basilica, the Sagrada Familia, is a good building. It will be finished by 2026. Yeah, I went there last year. I really liked it. If you're ever there, I would recommend going inside. because inside you got stained glass windows. It's basically like a fancy church, but you got like stained glass windows. There's seating there, and it's really good. I also went up in the tower. I wouldn't recommend that. Like, basically, you go in a lift and then you get aerial views of Barcelona. But like, I feel like if you've seen one aerial view, you've seen every aerial view. So I'd say if you're there, get the ticket to go inside, but you don't need to pay extra to get the ticket to go to the top, because I didn't feel like that was worth it. Badger would be satisfied with Champions League and Premier League. I would be over the moon with those two. I'd be beyond satisfied. I'd be jubilant, super happy. Durwood's gonna keep pushing for the food stream. Can do it during the international break. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it during the next international break, as in the one in October. Yeah, I'll do it then. Frankfurt game done. Barcelona game done. And Newcastle game also done. It's a 2-1 win for Barcelona. It will look majestic when it finishes, yeah. That's the thing as well. That's another reason why it didn't feel as good going in the tower. Because when you go in the tower, you look around and you can see like cranes where they're doing building work, and it's like, I don't want to see that. But yeah, once it's actually finished, it will look really good. It already looks quite good. Like, it's just kind of plonked there, like next to a McDonald's. But yeah, it looked good when it's finished, I'd say. Who's the best defender for tackling and marking in Champions League history? Liverpool defender. Champions League history would be Van Dijk. If we say Champions League goes back a decade or two. But anywho, that is full time. I won on 2 tickets. I repeated the same ticket twice. Good going. Good going. A win is a win. So that is a positive end result. What is not a positive end result is Newcastle, because Newcastle ended up losing. They did well to get a goal back. I think all things considered, a draw probably would have been fair, but what can you do? It is what it is. But yeah, 2-1 win for Barcelona. I will not be back tomorrow because I need a rest. But I'll be back on Saturday. Saturday is Liverpool versus Everton. And Saturday's Manchester United versus Chelsea. So I'll try and do both. Dawood says, see you bright and early Sunday. It will indeed be bright and early, and it will be even brighter and earlier for you. Enjoy your day off from us tomorrow. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Anthony says Sunday. Yes, Sunday is Arsenal. Sunday is Arsenal Man City. Yeah, so I'll be here Saturday and Sunday, and then Tuesday for Liverpool Southampton. Taste the Testers says, good night everyone. Enjoy the rest of your evenings. Be safe and stay well. You too. Enjoy your winnings and enjoy your time off. And yeah, cool. I'm gonna split, but I'll see you guys on Saturday. Take care. Enjoy.